Advertising agencies are always those institutions that unleash the idea out of the human potential and they come out with the best so that people can see wonders out of the product. Now, when I say the word compatibility, that means how good are we in terms of working as a team with the actors, with the models, with the back-end team all together. The functions of the advertising department is that it helps you to determine the advertising goals by consulting with the top management. Good morning and welcome to the session 2 in Unit 5, 6th semester BBA, Advertising and Media Management, where we are going to speak about the advertising agencies. Now, the most interesting thing on this earth is that if you get an opportunity to work with any ad agency, well, that's been always a dream job. Why? Because you have the opportunity to work with creativity at its best, which means to say that advertising agencies are always those institutions that unleash the idea out of the human potential and they come out with the best so that people can see wonders out of the product. Now, what are the advertising agencies' main work? They start with the core services, they have account management, they have digital marketing expertise, they have campaign development, brand strategy, production services, they also have performance evaluation, full service versus specialized, size and structure, and we're also going to talk about client relationship. So when you look into an ad agency, they are as similar like any other company, but then the factor is that since being an agency, they have multiple relationships, they have multiple accounts, they have different kinds of services tailor-made for their clients so that they are able to serve each and every activity specifically. Now, for example, when we go towards the role of advertising managers, the most important thing for them is to manage the operational functions. They have to see that the operation-wise, whatever the ad agencies are doing, the kind of ads they are doing it, how they are promoting it, all those things have to be taken care by the advertising managers, followed by interaction between agencies and media. Now, media always wants to know from the ad agencies what kind of ads you have created, how good it is, how bad it is, what kind of new ideas that have come across. Are you trying to build some new expertise? Are you trying to give something new to the people? So there's always an interaction that happens between the agencies and that of the media. They should also pay attention to outdoor aids, which means the support that they need to get in, effective campaign planning, because once you start building that momentum that you want your ads to reach far and wide, so automatically you need to bring in a campaign planning. You need to plan your campaigns as in how it can be taken, how far, how wide it can be built in, what kind of activities can be included, how can you make that campaign even more effective, how can you reach the people. All those things will matter a lot. Followed by appropriate media plans, because any media is not just going to accept you like that, but you need to have plans of what kind of launch you're doing, on what date you're doing, who are the people with whom you're going to enact. All those factors comes into picture. They're also important for the advertising budget, which matters a lot as it starts coming inside. And they're responsible for the proper allocation of resources. So as we are talking about resource allocation as in terms of money, in terms of activities, in terms of putting the right people at place, getting the right kind of date, how is the resources in terms of people, the technology, everything has to be managed, and also ensure that there is a profit to the organization at the end of the day, and avoid advertising waste as in too much of money or resources here, and implementation of the plan. So when you see this whole lot of activities, though advertising might look interesting, might look quite glamorous, but there's a whole lot of work that goes inside an ad agency. So many people feel that ad agencies are certain things which are very, very important for us to know, because the work, like the functions that are being decided here, are quite different, and we need to put a different stand altogether in terms of understanding it. Now, let's understand the important components of advertising agencies. The first thing is compatibility. Now, when I say the word compatibility, that means how good are we in terms of working as a team with the actors, with the models, with the back-end team all together. There needs to be a chemistry in which the agency is able to work together as a team, collect people effectively, make them work as a complete unit, try to understand whether this ad will work out, whether this team can bring out the best possible event altogether, and try to furbish and go back and tell how exactly they have been able to create the ad. So compatibility matters a lot when it comes to the understanding of an agency factor. Followed by the team, the number of people who are working, the expertise in terms of experience, understanding the project, all those things comes inside the team. They should have a stability in terms of understanding the market, how an agency works, and what kind of factors can be the best in terms of making the agency stable, in terms of getting the projects, in terms of returning back the revenue to the company. So all those things have to be quite planned and kept in position so that they are able to get what they want. Followed by this kind of services they do it, the creativity that is involved. Now, these two things are very, very important. Why? Because certain services in the advertising media field, I would say, does not require too much of creativity. It only requires a formal thinking. It only requires an art where you can just put yourself forward, think and move forward kind of thing. But there are certain things where the creativity matters a lot. So if you're not creative enough, if you're not thinking on the right terms, on the right path, then you will not be able to make it through. So that's why creativity will matter a lot here. Problem solving approach also starts coming into picture, because you need to be a good solution provider rather than pointing fingers at somebody. Advertising agencies will always have problems because they are not able to get solution at the first go. So it is their job, it's their duty to understand how exactly we can work, where we can coordinate, where we can find it out. All those things have to be done in the best way possible so that they get the most best solution here. And the importance of a problem solving here is that whenever you look into a problem, it might not be certain things, that it's not just about the color, contrast, size and other factors, but it might be solutions regarding that of the language, the communication, how the outdoor media, all those things have to be taken care of. Followed by the agency compensation system, which also matters a lot in terms of working it out. Now let's go to the types of agencies and organization. We have the group system, departmental, and the centralized advertising agency. So now let's start with the president of the association. The president of the association will have the following functions under him, starting by which we will have the production department, then we'll have the finance, we have the marketing department, research and development, and the human resources. Now, when you look into all the departments here, production, finance, R&D, and human resources are separate units which directly report into the president. Why? Because they are not interlinked in many of the functions as we are talking about. What happens when it comes to marketing? Marketing itself will be divided into advertising, marketing research, sales, and product planning. In the production department, it is more about concern about the units that they are making, and they are sending it across to the media. The finance takes care of the revenue part of it. The research and development comes into creativity, and the human resource for the standby. But when it comes to the marketing, you have the advertising separately working there. You have a marketing research team. You have a sales that promotes the insider sales, take it to your client, again, rebuild your client relationship. And then you have a product planning, which makes you better day by day, terms of understanding how we can do it better. Followed by which the functions of the advertising department is that it helps you to determine the advertising goals by consulting with the top management. Now, many a time what happens is that you are in a hurry, you are in an excited state by saying that we can do this ad, we can promote this product or service. But then the top management always comes back and tells you how exactly an ad needs to be done, whether first of all you need an ad for this kind of an activity or not. Why? Because it's not just about budget, it's not just about the factors of people there, but it's also about the reach of the media, which makes it very, very important. So you need to select the advertising agency. Then most of the agencies would not just agree to an ad just like that. They go through a lot of series planning. They do a lot of debate and discussion to understand whether this project can be taken. This kind of advertising, is it needed? What kind of footfall would happen when we are bringing this kind of an ads all together? So all these things will matter a lot when we are talking about the selection of advertising agents. Followed by the plan of activity, allocation of work to the agency and the advertiser, because certain people might want only a part of the advertisement, certain people might need an end-to-end support for it, certain people would say that, sir, the script to the dialogue to the color to the screen, I need the entire setup to be done. So that's where the plan needs to be done very clearly. It has to be decided, and you have to communicate effectively the policy and problems to management as well as the agency. Whenever we are doing an ad, we cannot assume things and do that. That will be the biggest mistake that anybody can go ahead. So first of all, you need to identify those policies, those factors that will actually affect the agency. So if you're taking up a project, is this project a valid project? Can we do it? Are there any policy mismatch? Are there any changes? Are there going to be any challenges that are going to come into picture? All those things have to be determined out clearly. And then comes the types of agency organization. So you need to see the proportion of appropriation assigned. What are the plans for advertisement by the agencies? You need to approve whether they have taken any purchase issues or if they have taken any kind of extra activities. You need to ensure that the billing issue, the control factors, the corporate advertising factors, all those things have been taken into conclusion or not. So sometimes what happens here exactly is that many times people believe that advertising is something like the budget is just given to them for free. You can easily do it. But the reality is that it's not like that, where you have to think 100 times before spending that 1 rupee, because the impact is very, very high here. Now, the functions of advertising department, as we were talking about, they prepare the portfolios for advertising of the sales, work with the sales department, they prepare the instruction manuals for those who will sell and use the product, they ensure that the mail inquiries are done, all the bills are properly checked and they are being given all together. So keep an account of the funds basically. So you would see that the advertising department is spending a whole lot of time not just advertising but also in specializing and working out with programs, creating that entire manual that will go forward and reach the users so that they are able to understand how the functionality is working all together. With this, I come to the end of this particular session on advertising and media management. I hope and believe that all the functionalities, all the points that I've been told would be of a great help to you, both in terms of theory as well as in the practical walk of life. So this would be the concluding session on advertising and media management. I hope and believe that all these sessions will help you a lot in terms of preparing for your exam and scoring the best marks in the coming semester examination. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.